hundreds of mothers and babies died or were harmed due to deep-rooted, systemic and sustained failings at Nottingham University NHS Trust, according to a landmark report published earlier today. The former senior midwife, Donna Ockenden, who led the review, said her findings must be a catalyst for change at a local and national level. The inquiry found leaders at the NHS Trust knew there were serious issues in its maternity care going back years, but failed to take action to prevent more deaths. Well, our social affairs correspondent Michael Buchanan has followed this story right from the beginning and sent this report.
A pregnancy is most often a time of joy and hope, but in Nottingham, in hundreds of cases, it became a source of trauma and harm. A 4-year review into maternity care at the Nottingham University Hospitals Trust found systemic failure over a decade left families bereft.
What happened here in Nottingham cannot be allowed to remain in the shadows. And because the women, babies and families at the centre of these pages deserve, at the very least, the truth.
The review found that with better care, 93 stillbirths, 62 neonatal deaths and 6 mothers may have survived. In addition, 105 babies suffered severe brain injuries and there were 116 cases where mothers were subjected to potentially avoidable harm.
Their experiences occurred over more than a decade, and yet the themes that run through those experiences, a failure to listen, a failure to investigate, a failure to learn, are hauntingly consistent.
The report found that racist and discriminatory care contributed to the poor outcomes. This woman, who doesn't want to be identified, had a stillborn baby in 2021. She doesn't speak much English, so didn't know her baby was in distress or why staff were panicking as they'd failed to call an interpreter.
Well, I kept saying, go call that interpreter, but all I remember is the midwife was just looking down. I'm saying, go call the interpreter, and not even making eye contact with me. They knew I needed an interpreter because I've had an interpreter at every other appointment I've been there. I actually feel like they discriminated against me because of the colour of my skin and the fact that I had a language barrier.
Having failed to deliver their baby safely, the Trust on occasion also failed to provide dignity in death. A baby decomposed in its mortuary care. Another was disposed as clinical waste, while the body of a mother who died deteriorated so much her family were prevented from seeing her by the funeral director.
They are failures of humanity. And we absolutely must have a service where compassion is integrated into the very heart of maternity care for all of the time someone is a hospital patient, including after their death.
In an open letter today, the Trust wrote, "We apologise unreservedly to the women and families who have suffered harm, loss, trauma or distress while receiving care in our services. We failed you, and on behalf of Nottingham University Hospitals Trust, we accept responsibility for our failings." Ministers have promised to act on the report.
This has to be a turning point for maternity care in this country. I don't think anyone reading Donna Ockenden's report, anyone who, like me, has talked to and listened to those families who have been affected in Nottingham, could feel anything other than an absolute determination to make sure that change happens.
The Trust knew for years it had maternity problems, but didn't act, a failure that cost many families dearly. Michael Buchanan, BBC News, Nottingham.